Okay, let's dive right in. Look, what we're talking about here isn't just a new app or some cool tech gadget. We're talking about a massive, fundamental structural transformation of our economy and our society. And it's happening right now, between 2026 and 2030. This is the moment AI stops being just a tool we use and starts becoming the core infrastructure of our lives. So, the key idea here is what's being called a great reset and how we even create value. In this explainer, we're going to break down what that actually means for all of us, looking at four critical areas: how it's going to impact labor, how it's going to restructure our economy, the changes coming for society, and the incredibly fast timeline this is all happening on. At the very heart of this entire shift is one single concept. We're moving from AI as a tool to AI as infrastructure. And this is all being driven by the rise of something called the AI agent. And let me tell you, this is a totally different beast than the AI we've been playing with so far. So, what exactly is an AI agent? Well, it's definitely not just a chatbot that answers your questions. Think of it more like an autonomous program, a digital coworker that can handle complex, multi step tasks all by itself. It's the huge difference between asking for a recipe and having a system that plans the meal, orders the groceries, and schedules the delivery for you. It's the big leap from chatbot to colleague. And this brings us to the most immediate and honestly the most personal impact of this whole transformation. For millions of people, especially young people just starting out, that traditional career path, well, it's being completely dismantled. We're talking about the collapse of the entry-level, white-collar job as we know it. And that, of course, leads to the big question, the one that every student, every recent grad, and frankly, every parent is asking right now. Why these jobs? Why are the first steps on the career ladder the ones that are disappearing first? And this visualizes the problem perfectly. On the left, you see the old way, right? A junior analyst grinds away on execution tasks, learns the ropes, and eventually becomes a senior analyst who focuses on strategy. But in our new reality on the right, the AI agent just takes over all that execution work. That bottom rung of the ladder, it's just gone. It breaks the entire pipeline that we've always used to train our future leaders. This creates what the source material calls the move up or move out mandate. The old deal at work was all about creation. You got paid to write code, to draft reports, to crunch the data. The new deal, it's about supervision. Your value now comes from reviewing the AI's work, approving its strategy, and auditing its results. You have to level up your skills or you seriously risk becoming obsolete. And this isn't some abstract, far-off theory. Here are the specific white-collar roles that are being flagged as the highest risk right now. These are the jobs that are packed with the kind of routine cognitive work that AI agents are getting incredibly good at, incredibly fast. So for anyone in these fields, or hoping to be, the message is pretty clear. The ground is shifting right under your feet. So what happens when you scale this up from one person's career to the entire economy? Well, what we're starting to see isn't just a shift in the job market, but a great economic reset that's basically creating a tale of two very different, very divergent economies. This slide shows you exactly how that divergence happens. The old model for a company was pretty linear. If you wanted more output, you had to hire more people. Simple. But the new AI-first model, it's exponential. Companies can now massively ramp up what they produce without adding more people. And the result? It's that widening gap you see on the right. Productivity goes through the roof, but the rewards flow mostly to the owners of the technology, while wages for the average worker kind of just flatline. And the scale of this productivity boom is just staggering. Projections are showing that by 2030, AI is expected to add a massive $15.7 trillion to the global economy. I mean, the wealth is definitely being created. The billion, or rather trillion-dollar question is, where does it all go? So you're probably wondering, how fast is all this really happening? Well, this isn't some vague Jetsons-style prediction for the future. The sources we're looking at lay out a very specific and very accelerated timeline for this transformation over just the next 5 years. Let's walk through it. We start with this year, 2026. This is being called the reality check. The initial hype is settling, and companies are shifting AI from a cool experiment to just default standard issue infrastructure. And the first big impact we're seeing isn't mass layoffs. It's hiring freezes for those entry-level roles, as companies start replacing people who leave with AI instead of a new hire. Next year, 2027, is when the disruption really kicks into high gear. This is when AI goes from being a helpful tool to being a full-on colleague. Autonomous agents will start handling entire workflows in areas like marketing and payroll. And that's when the collapse in hiring for junior roles becomes impossible to ignore. And this 2-year window, from 2027 to 2028, is flagged as the critical inflection point. This is the period where the pace of change is expected to accelerate so dramatically that it just outruns our ability to adapt in time. It's the top of the roller coaster. By 2028, we hit what's being called the infrastructure squeeze. With these agents now able to run complex workflows all on their own, layoffs are expected to pick up speed. But at the same time, the massive energy demand from all these AI data centers creates a real-world bottleneck. Power becomes the new gold. And this is when the debate over job loss and things like universal basic income goes from the fringe right into the mainstream. In 2029, the impact jumps out of the office and into the world of hard science. AI's reasoning abilities will start to match expert humans in fields like biology and law, which could slash the time it takes to discover new drugs. Now, this creates enormous value, but it also makes the concentration of wealth in the hands of these AI-powered companies absolutely undeniable. Which brings us to 2030, the new normal. By the end of this decade, AI will be just like electricity, invisible, essential, and everywhere. It's the operating system for the entire economy. And this is where we, as a society, face a huge fork in the road. The choices we make between now and then will decide whether this incredible productivity boom leads to prosperity for everyone or to extreme, permanent inequality. Now, after hearing all of that, it is completely understandable to feel a little anxious. But the sources also point to a clear way forward. As AI takes over all the routine stuff, a new and really powerful competitive edge emerges for us. It's called the human premium. Think about it this way. In a world that is flooded with infinite AI-generated content and analysis, what suddenly becomes scarce? What becomes truly valuable? Authenticity, judgment, the human touch. These things that we used to dismiss as soft skills are quickly becoming hard, tangible economic assets. That is the core idea of the human premium. And we can break it down into 5 core abilities that AI just can't easily copy. Number 1, empathy, that deep emotional connection you need in fields like nursing or management. 2, presence, the simple value of physical reliability and skill. 3, opinion and ethics, the ability to make a tough moral call when the data isn't clear. 4, true creativity, not just rearranging old ideas into new patterns. And finally, leadership, the uniquely human ability to rally other people around a shared vision. So, knowing the challenges and seeing the opportunities, what's the game plan? What is the path forward? How do we actually navigate this incredible transition? The most important takeaway is that the window to adapt is right now, between today and that inflection point in 2028, and we need action on 3 different levels. For individuals, it's all about developing those uniquely human skills. For companies, it's about redesigning how they work to be AI native or risk getting left behind. And for society, it's about getting serious about new safety nets and rethinking the link between work and survival. And that leaves us with this final, really powerful thought. The challenge isn't to work harder or faster than an AI. That is a losing battle. The future belongs to those who can develop the wisdom, the judgment, and the strategic vision to direct the agents. The question is no longer, what can you do? The question is now, what can you get an AI to do for you?